The Love Island USA Season 6 reunion aired yesterday, and we have to talk about it. Welcome back to the Dose of Morning Chisme. I am so happy that you have stumbled across my video. If this is your first time here, welcome. We talk about all things pop culture, reality TV, and celebrity news. If you end up enjoying this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos in the future. Okay, you guys, Love Island USA Season 6 reunion aired last night, and we need to talk about it because I'm feeling a little bit underwhelmed. I feel like for 36 episodes that we had, an hour and 20 minutes is kind of like, wait, we are missing so much. I feel like not a lot was addressed. And I also want to point out that I feel like the Islanders did not want to go in the first place, which I believe is fair. So this season of Love Island has been huge, right? And I feel like the fandom has taken it a little too far. People are getting hate comments. People are getting death threats. People are getting just bombarded with DMs of just being very hateful. And you can support your fave on the show without being so mean. I feel like some of the fans are just taking things way too far. Like a few weeks ago, Daya posted on her story, like, the kind of like screenshots of like DMs that she was getting where people were telling her horrendous things. And I just think at the end of the day, this is a reality TV show. We can all have opinions, but you can be a fan of the show without being so cruel to these people who are on a highly edited reality TV show. And for the people saying like, oh, they knew what they signed up for, like this is what comes with reality TV. Actually, they probably didn't, because the show has never been this big until now. So it probably was them. They were taken by surprise when they saw how big the show got and how many people were having opinions and weighing in on their every single move on the show. But the reunion, let's get into it. I definitely think that there needed to be people that were left at home or address everyone. I feel like it was very awkward to see Hakeem, Nigel, Cassidy, Harrison, Catherine, Daya sitting there, but like not really having any part of any conversation. If you're going to bring everyone, address everyone, or bring the people you're only going to address, because it makes it feel like we're missing something. Like it really felt super rushed, like we were missing something super short, and like people needed to be at home and stay home, because it was just, I felt very underwhelmed. And don't get me wrong, I love Ariana Madix. I'm a huge fan of Vanderpump Rules. I'm so happy that she's thriving. But I feel like some of the questions could have been better, but that's not geared towards Ariana because she doesn't write her own questions. Obviously, she is given those questions. But I also think that maybe they kept it this short and sweet and to the point because of all the hate that has been happening online. I do think the cast was terrified to say anything out of place in fear that they were going to get dragged and canceled online. Because I feel like, of course, there is, things that the cast has done wrong. I feel like some of the Islanders have said things on lives or after leaving the villa, but nothing really justifies getting death threats. That's crazy to me. Like, no. And I feel like that about multiple people. So let's start out. So everybody's sitting there on the stage. They bring out the final four couples. They start talking to Leah and Miguel, Serena and Cordell, and then Janae and Kenny. And they're all dating. So they're all boyfriend, girlfriend, which was exciting to see. Super happy for them. And then Coy speaks up and apologized to Janae and Kenny because Coy had gone on Instagram or TikTok live with Daya and said that his relationship with Janae, Kenny and Janae's relationship or coupling during the show was fake, which I'm like, Coy, you were on the show for 5 minutes. You were more of a fan than you were ever on the show because you were literally in 2 episodes. So him knowing about Janae and Kenny is wild, or commenting is wild, because he was never in that villa with them. Like, how can you comment on something you've never, like, you can comment as a viewer, sure, but how can you comment as someone who was there or try to make it seem like you know anything when you literally weren't there? But it was nice for him to apologize to Janae, because I definitely also think that he was going to get dragged. Janae came with a pamphlet. She came with a stapled document to, bring up the receipts, which I love. So he apologized, happy that he apologized to Janae and Kenny. He really didn't have a place to kind of bring anything up. And then, we get through the first few couples. Cordell and Serena are so cute together. Absolutely love them. Cordell ended up getting his Cheez-Its brand deal, which is great. He manifested it on the show. And then we get to Kendall and Nicole. And first and foremost, I have loved Nicole throughout the season. I do think that she's, human at the end of the day. But I do think that her making it talking about it the way she talked about it and bringing it on, the reunion. I don't know if that was the best place to do it, but I also could sense a level of desperation from her voice just to clear her name to a certain degree. So, Ariana asks him, how are you guys doing? Kendall starts talking, and then Nicole says, there was a video that was leaked of Kendall in which he lied to me about. He said that it was taken years ago and sent to an ex-girlfriend, but when in reality it was taken right before he entered the villa, and it was sent on a dating app. And when this video was leaked, I cannot imagine the pain that Kendall felt. And also, what a shitty person. Whoever fucking did this to him, like, you're a weirdo, you're cruel as fuck. Like, what possessed you to do this to someone? Like, this is one of the cruelest things that you could ever do to someone. And somebody decided to leak a very personal video of Kendall the day of the finale. Okay, what a calculated move. And of course, the Islanders do not have their phone during the season, so Kendall got his phone back, and of course, he's getting blown up about this video. I guess a few minutes later, Nicole comes in the room and he tells her a lie. He tells her that it was from years ago from an ex-girlfriend. And in reality, it was right before the villa, and it was sent on a dating app. And she had to find out through Janae, which, of course, I think that Nicole's feelings were valid. She's allowed to be hurt that he lied to her. I think it's fair for her to want to clear up her name. I just think that maybe bringing up the video was not the best idea, especially at the reunion, because there are people who did not know about the video until the reunion. But I just could feel the sense of pain in both of their voices. Nicole was obviously very upset that she was lied to. She has mentioned in the past that dishonesty is something that she has dealt with in past relationships, and honesty is very big to her. And Serena chimed in and said, I've cut people off because they've lied to me. I've cut men off because they've lied to me, but I also believe in second chances. I think she said it so well. And I also did feel like the cast was kind of invalidating Nicole and her feelings in that moment. They were all chiming in. They were all kind of talking over her, and she was just sharing her feelings, which at the end of the day, regardless if you agree with her or how she went about things, her feelings are valid. But at the same time, I feel like the situation with Kendall was so horrendous and so horrible that I feel like maybe a little bit more grace should have been taken in that scenario. But I'm very sad for both of them. That was a very sad moment to see. I don't think anybody needed to see that, but it did happen and it was shown. And now, as of a few hours ago, or even like an hour ago, they have announced that they have broken up. So Kendall and Nicole have both taken to their Instagrams to announce that they are no longer together. And he said on his, it says, I have decided to end things with Nicole. It reached a point where it was not healthy for us to continue the relationship. I still love and care for Nicole. I've never developed such strong feelings for a woman in my life. I have no regrets for the connection I made with her in the villa, and it was real. She does not deserve any hate. Please stop with the negative comments, DMs. We're taking this time to focus on our mental health. Love you guys, or thank you guys, sorry. And then she said, on August 18th, Kendall and I agreed our relationship was worth working on, and we were making plans for me to visit him in Dallas soon. So this was after the reunion was filmed. And it says here, however, today on August 20th, he called and ended things. While I understand and respect his decision, it's hard to process this one. I opened up to him in the villa and still love and care for him now. I'm struggling mentally, and all I ask is for privacy during this time. So at the reunion, they announced that they were together, despite the situation that had been going on, but obviously they were not communicating. They had, not really talked. I think she mentioned that he mentioned that he had called her, tried to fly her out, and she was not receptive to that. She was obviously very hurt that he lied to her. And I do understand, why she's getting some backlash, but I feel like people are being super cruel in her comment section. And I think one of the points that she was trying to make is like, hey, like, had you told me the truth and we could have weathered the storm together, but instead now people think that I'm a piece of shit because we have been distanced, and people think that I left you or have broken up with you or got disgusted because of the video or whatever. Those are the comments I have seen. And I'm getting all this shit for it, when in reality, I'm upset with you. We're still together because you lied to me. So I do understand her point there. And of course, I can't imagine how much hate she is getting, especially after the reunion aired. If you look at her comment section, it is filled with people being very mean to her. And although I think she could have worded things better, could have not handled this at the reunion, I do not think that justifies anyone sending her death threats or hate comments to the degree they are sending her, because I think that was one of the reasons that she wanted to clear up her name to begin with. So then they go over to Rob and Andrea. And of course, as we know, Rob and Andrea had like a brief romance during the show. She ended up getting dumped by the girls and he was supposed to leave with her. He decided not to leave with her. She leaves the villa, obviously thinking that they're probably going to reconnect when he's out of the show. And she goes obviously on TikTok live and her TikToks in general and shares her point of view. Now, she did say multiple things about Leah and other cast members, which was brought up at the reunion. So she was talking about her point of view and then Leah's like, well, you said that I speak out of emotion. And then Janae whips out a pamphlet and is like, you actually also said this at the aftersun. And I think it's, fair for Leah and Janae to address the situation with Andrea. However, I do think that Andrea couldn't truly share how she felt and what her point of view was because she was terrified to get dragged online again. Like, as you guys seen, if you watch the show, Andrea has been getting dragged online like left and fucking right. Now, has she said some fucked up things? Yes. Should she be held accountable at the reunion by the people that she had said those things about? Yes. But I feel like the hate is intense. I can't lie that it isn't. Like, she absolutely is getting so much hate. So I think she went up there and she was like, even if I felt those things about Leah in the situation, I can't even say them because I'm terrified I'm going to get fucking attacked online. So she just apologized to Leah and Janae told her to keep Leah's name out of her mouth, which is completely fair. Like, hey, like, don't talk about her friend. Like, let's move on. And that is that. And Janae was like, we're done with this conversation. We're moving on. So then we went over to Kaylor and Aaron. And bitch, Aaron, why? Why would you wait till the reunion to tell Kaylor that you put your hand down Daniela's pants? Like, why? Why? Like, you've literally had multiple instances where you've been in the same room as Kaylor, where you guys have been alone together, where you are well aware that someone is going to eventually share this with her. Like, come on, just tell her the truth. I feel like it was fucked up for him to wait so long to tell her the truth in general, and then to tell her the truth about putting his hand down Daniela's pants at the reunion. Like, fuck, However, I do believe that Liv and Kaylor, like, let the man talk. You know what I mean? Like, I understand that Liv is standing up for her bestie, and I love that. I love that Liv is standing up for Kaylor. I feel like Kaylor can sometimes be, forgivable. She's like not forgivable, forgiving. And she obviously stood on business. She did not cry. And Liv was there for her friend. But at the same time, I was like, let him finish. Even if it's the wrong answer, we want to hear what he has to say. But I will add also, like, I feel like Aaron looked very, very down in the dumps. Like, he looked drained. He looked exhausted. Like, he has been dragged through the coals. And of course, he did put his foot in his mouth. He lied to Kaylor. He went to Casa. He did the things that he did with Daniela. He came back, continued to lie to Kaylor, and then now told her the truth at the reunion. And this is the first time she's hearing it. So, of course, she's very hurt. But I'm not going to lie, you guys. My little empathetic heart was like, damn, I do feel a little bad for Aaron, especially when he mentioned that his grandfather had passed away the day that they had, done the interview, the podcast with BFFs, and, that Kaylor had shat all over him. But then Kaylor's like, no, I actually, reached out to you, sent my condolences. Like, I was there for you. Like, don't even fucking say I wasn't. So I think it's fair for her to be angry. It's just sad at the same time because, like, there's nothing this man can say, but I feel like he fucked up multiple times where he also needs to be addressed. Like, you messed up, but, then other people were saying online, like, hey, this is Love Island. The whole point is to fucking meet other people and talk to them. But I feel like the way that Kaylor was kind of put in such a shitty situation and the way it was handled after everything was happened was so different than the way that Serena and Cordell handled it. And I feel like Cordell did something very similar to Aaron, but Cordell handled it very well. And Aaron just kept lying to Kaylor. Had Aaron not lied to Kaylor, I feel like this would be a different story. And these two have officially broken up. They're no longer together. And Kaylor also went on a podcast and said that Aaron reached out to Daniela after the show was over to thank her for essentially standing up for him. And I was like, why in the world would you go and message the woman that you were interested in and essentially, I wouldn't say cheated because it weren't like official, but like you fucked over Kaylor for, like, you know what I mean? And like, then you just went on the reunion and shared that it wasn't just a few innocent kisses. It was like, you were really getting into it with her. Yeah. Like, why would you message her? Like, if you want to be with Kaylor, then like respectfully, like you need to not talk to Daniela. Like, come on. Like, read the room. I felt like Aaron doesn't know how to do that. And I feel like she lit him up. And I feel like at the end of the day, like, it was the moment that she needed to do that, because of course, when else are we going to have a conversation with them and also be able to kind of see Aaron's POV, but also hear Kaylor's as well. So then let's talk about the backseat conversation. And I feel like this is the portion of the video where you guys are going to lose me, or where I'm going to lose you guys, because I have a very different opinion. And I know this is unpopular, and I just want you guys to bear with me. Okay, so I watched the scene multiple fucking times. And I'm not going to lie, the people I watched it with had a different opinion than I did. And that's fair. But I do believe that Leah was very much a passenger in sending Andrea home. Now, do I think that that's an issue? Absolutely not. Like, the whole point is for everybody to have input to send somebody home. First of all, why would the production team of Love Island put that on them? Like, that's already a harsh decision to make, because you have two bombshells that the whole purpose of them coming in is to steal your man and find a connection, or their friend. So it was already a shitty position to put everybody in, right? Do I think that Leah took a back seat? I do not. Do I think she tried to take a back seat? I do not as well. So people are saying that Liv was the driver of the conversation. Liv was the driver of the conversation in general. But Leah was not taking a back seat, or did not try to take a back seat into sending Andrea home. And that was the whole point. The point wasn't that Liv didn't drive the conversation, because she did, but Liv was trying to send Nicole home because Nicole had a connection with Miguel. So it very much was, Liv was very much the driver, but Leah was also, saying like, let's send Andrea home. And when she, said, like, listed out the reasons, like, oh, she's not here for love, she's here for brand deals and comp tables and the Love Island money. Although, yes, these are reasons that, you probably should send somebody home, or that she's, in a couple very quickly. And then she was like, this isn't Couples Island, it's Love Island. But like, isn't the whole point to come in and make a connection that lasts, that kind of like wins you the show? I felt like that was an odd comment to make. And then on top of that, the whole like brand deals and comp tables and all that, like, everybody that signs up for this show is doing it for some sort of clout, regardless if they probably don't want to admit it or not. Like, they're doing it for a reason. I don't think anybody genuinely goes on Love Island to be like, this is the best way I'm gonna find love. So I felt like that was kind of an unfair reason, but at the same time, I understood why she was saying that. Like, there has to be someone that goes home. We're not gonna send Janae home because that's our girl. And although they said they didn't send her home because that was their friend, it was because she was their friend. Like, at the end of the day, like, Nicole and Andrea had just gotten there. They obviously don't know the girls as well. Janae had been going through the ringer with different men that were just like not up to her standards, because she's a queen. She deserves to stay and find somebody. I love that they kept Janae. And I love that they kept Janae because it was their friend. Like, you see your friend, she's trying to find a connection. It's not working out. Let's give her another chance, because the next day Kenny came in and now look at them. They're dating. I love that they did that for Janae. But it's unfair to say that that wasn't the reason. And it was also unfair to say that Leah wasn't somewhat putting her opinion out there to send Andrea home, because she was, I believe, a small driving factor that, Andrea went home. I do think that she didn't take a back seat, nor try to take a back seat, but that is also okay. Like, that was the whole point of them deliberating and, sharing their thoughts and opinions and sending somebody home. I just think it was unfair to say that she took a back seat. And then when the conversation was over and we watched like the fucking 30 minutes of that conversation, Liv apologized to Leah, and I don't know if an apology was necessary, because I don't think Liv lied. And tell me if I'm wrong, because I feel like a lot of people are having different opinions, and I feel like Liv didn't lie. She did say that Leah essentially had had thoughts and swayed for Andrea to go home, and she did. Like, she literally said why Andrea should go home. Isn't that swaying Andrea to go home? I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, and maybe I need to rewatch, but I don't know. I was like a little confused to why she apologized. And I also think it was kind of mind-boggling to see the internet have a completely different opinion. Like, people are like, oh no, now Leah is vindicated and Rob owes her an apology. And I'm like, did we watch the same scene? Because I feel like she did want Andrea to go home. Like, it was between Andrea and Nicole, and she was mentioning reasons why Nicole should stay and why Andrea should go, which is the whole point. And then, Ari was like, you were pushing for Nicole to stay, in which it concludes that Andrea will go home because Janae is safe. So I don't know. I feel like the backseat conversation has a lot of people at arms, and I definitely think it reignited the discussion because I don't think we're all on the same page. I definitely think that Leah did not take a back seat. I don't think that she tried to take a back seat either. I don't think that it was bad that she didn't take a back seat. Like, everybody should have their own thoughts and opinions, but her saying that she took a back seat, I don't think that's necessarily true. But at the end of the day, things happened the way they were supposed to happen. She ended up with Miguel, and I think that that's good too. Like, I think that Andrea going home, she was going to go home anyway, if I'm being honest. Like, she was not going to win Love Island. Yeah, she had a connection with Rob, and the whole point is to get a connection. But I don't think that they were going to make it to the end and win the entire show. So did this cause her to go home? Yes. Was this going to happen anyway? I think so. Yes. And those are pretty much my thoughts on Love Island reunion. I definitely thought that there was a lot more that we were going to talk about. I think that the cast definitely could have talked more. I feel like we could have talked to everybody and had conversations with them. Like, why were they flown out then? Why were they flown out if not everyone was going to talk? You know what I mean? And, Sierra and Daniela had mentioned, oh, wait, sorry, I missed something. Daya kind of, chimed in and talked about Serena and Cordell, that, she also brought up the fact that she was getting an overwhelming amount of hate on the internet. And I feel like it's fair for people to think that Daya was kind of lame, and I get that, because when I watched it, I was like, she's laying it on thick. She's in Casa, she wants Cordell, and literally her opening line to enter the show was like, I want Cordell, and that's it. But at the same time, it does not justify her getting death threats. That's crazy. Like, people are insane. And also, on top of that, and I'm not saying this is 100% fact, but I fully believe this, and I could bet my entire bank account, the screenshot of her commenting on OBJ's picture is photoshopped. It's not real. So she's been getting so much hate for that screenshot since the show. The show stopped airing a month ago, and people are still commenting about that. I think it would have been a fair moment to bring that up and for her to be able to share her piece. Like, she should have been able to share her piece. I think Sierra and the other Casa girl should have shared their piece. I think it's also extremely difficult to come in as a bombshell or a Casa girl. Like, you're fucked from the beginning. Like, everybody's going to start out not liking you and then, lead to liking you, opposed to the OG girls who are starting out liked and then they have to do something to get unliked because you're coming in to steal someone's man. You know what I mean? So I think it's difficult to go in as a Casa girl. I think some of the girls, definitely wanted to share their opinions, and maybe they did, but it just didn't air. Cassidy, Nigel, Hakeem, they didn't say a word. Were they even said hi to? Like, it was crazy. I was like, why are all these people here if they're not gonna talk? Like, it could have been longer. It could have been multiple parts. I didn't think that Liv needed to apologize to Leah. I do think that it was good that Janae and Leah addressed Andrea. I do think that the cast had a lot of fears to share their opinions and thoughts, and fear that the fandom was gonna drag them. I feel like Rob and Aaron looked drained and completely fucking over it. I think that Miguel and Cordell hardly talked. Like, why are we not talking to the winners of the show? Like, Serena and Cordell just won the show. Why can't we talk more about them? You know what I mean? So overall, I was underwhelmed. I felt like a lot of things left unsaid. I think there was a lot more they could have said. And I feel like they flew out too many people or addressed everyone. Like, Nigel and Cassidy did not say a fucking word, and it was crazy. Like, why are you just sitting there? Cassie too, like Cassie and Rob, I think they asked Cassie one question, like, how are you and Rob now? And she was like, we're friends. And that was it. Like, what? Like, you flew these people out to New York just to ask them one question or just to sit there as a bystander? Like, talk to everyone or leave them at home. But those are my thoughts. I, loved the show. I loved the friendships. I do really, really love Serena, Leah, and Janae. I feel like they're stars, and I can't wait to see what they do next. I do think that the Nicole and Kendall moment did not need to happen on camera. I think that that was something that we needed to not see. I think that she panicked. I think that he obviously was going through hell and back. I think she could have worded it better, but I also understand her feelings are valid. I do think that the cast was kind of coming on her a little much and wasn't letting her talk. But overall, I give it a 4 out of 10. I do want to know everyone's thoughts and opinions. And if I missed something, let me know, because this was a very chaotic recap, like always. And I can't wait to see Love Island Games. I'm excited to see what that's like. I've only watched like one episode of the old Love Island Games. And definitely will be keeping up with Love Islanders once they have left the villa. Like, I'm excited to see if they come up with a new reality TV show for them, because they really kept us sat and entertained. But thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.